Yeah. So I was just thinking to myself, just the basics, right? So we have this leadership retreat. And one of the things that I talked a lot about is just never leaving the idea of square one. So by square one, I mean making sure that you're always in touch with the basics, the vital behaviors, the three things consistently, no matter where you are in your business, whether you're a beginning coach or you've been coaching for a few months, or you've been in and out of coaching. If you ever want to just jump back into coaching, if you ever really just want to focus on building your business, it's a priority that you focus on the basics. You can't ever have a successful business without doing the basics. And Christina Delgado really nailed it yesterday. If you listen to the National Wake Up Call, she basically said, you cannot have a business if you don't have Success Club. I mean, that is really the root of what we do. And then she went on to talk about like really growing your business means recruitment. But at the heart of what we do, we really need to make sure that we're in check with Success Club. So as I was thinking about this, I thought to myself, man, there are a lot of people in the network who really focus on recruiting, but they don't talk a lot about challenge groups. They don't necessarily focus on challenge groups as much, but really the challenge groups are what allow people to get results. It's what allows people to feel the benefits of the product. It's what helps them to understand why this is such an amazing opportunity, not just because they're coaching, but because and selling Shakeology, but because there's a whole network of people that are there to help them succeed. And that's the part that I think is the most underrated part of what we do. You know, you can go to any company and you can talk about products, right? Sell products. But really what we have are challenge groups. And those challenge groups are really the secret sauce to success, right? This is what helps people achieve their goals. And I know that many of you guys know when I started, I did Insanity on my own, and I just basically was like, so am I a coach now? Like, I don't understand how it all works. But I didn't know nutrition. I didn't follow the program's nutritional guide. I didn't know how any of that part of it worked. So then when I got in touch with the challenge group, I was like, oh, this is how it all works. This is a challenge group. I get it now. So here's what we're going to do over the next 4 weeks. So at the retreat, it was Michaeline, Taylor, Kirsten, and Cynthia. And the five of us were just kind of talking about what needs to be done. Like, how can we make sure that we are helping our coaches? And it went back to challenge groups. It went back to having effective challenge groups. So the first thing that we're going to do, we're going to go over some announcements. And then I really want you guys to just do some memory jogging and think back to yourself, what was my most successful challenge group, or what was the most successful group that I was a part of, whether I was a coach or a customer, and just brainstorm things that kind of stood out to you about that. All right. So let's go ahead. I'm going to do a quick share screen for you. So this week we are on part 1. So our job today, what we're covering today, is really talking about launching challenge groups, talking about challenge groups on Facebook, talking about them in person, and making sure that we have a specific target in mind when we talk about those challenge groups. So this is just part 1. All right, so first announcement for you guys. As many of you guys know, if you're new to the team, if you go into the Knockout Brigade, there's a hashtag that you're going to see. Last month, it was hashtag Hammer Time. This month, it's going to be hashtag Gonna Be May. So if you use that hashtag, it means that you have brought somebody into the business. And that means that you've recruited a coach, and every time you use that hashtag, you will get a response from one of the diamonds in the team who is going to do a fun little dance for you to celebrate with you, because it's a big deal. It's an awesome, awesome accomplishment, and we want to make sure we're recognizing you for that as well. But I want to take it one step further to this month, because you know what challenge packs mean? It means we're changing lives, right? It means that we are doing something to help other people, and that is the heart of what we do. So starting today, you're going to see this image, this pay your results forward. Thank you for changing my life. You are going to be in charge of every time you sell a challenge pack, you are going to comment below under this image. So it's going to say this, but I just wanted to give you the heads up now. We need to come together and cheer each other on as we bravely step out, share our stories, invite others, and join us to ultimately change lives. Nothing empowers me more than when one of my challengers or coaches come to me and say, thank you for changing my life. That is what we are doing when we pay our results forward and help others gain the tools for success by purchasing a challenge pack and then guiding them through the program with our challenge groups. I want to see this post resurface every day. Every time you change a life with a challenge pack in May, I want you to comment on this post. You can share a name, a picture, a screenshot of your conversation, a tip to help other coaches. Maybe it's just a hashtag, whatever it is. When you sell a challenge pack, shout yourself out here so that we recognize the hard work that you're doing. Let's lift each other up and daily remind each other of why we are doing what we do. It's all about the people we help. You guys in? Give me a little raising your hand if you've got this. All right, very cool. So you'll see that in the team page a little bit later today. Okay, next. Let's talk about Success Club. April is over, but I have to recognize coaches who just crushed it. I'm not going to lie, at the end of the month, we had a Success Club group going, and we were just giving advice. We were nailing it down. We were helping each other out, and I cannot believe the number of coaches who really pulled it out at the end of the month. So huge, huge shout out to coaches. And I have to make sure that I am giving Barb a major kudos, like a high five. SC20 this month absolutely nailed it. She is on the leaderboards. Barb, if you would like to give some tips for the team on what you're doing, we would love for you to share, love for you to tell us what your secret is to making sure that you are getting people in touch with the right challenge pack. So kudos to everybody. Also, big shout out to everyone on the Success Board, especially those who have achieved SC10 this month. We've got Rachel, Michaeline, Jess, Jenna, Kate, Heather, all of them at SC10, which means that they've also received the leads for Shakeology as well. So that means they get automatic commission for anyone who orders Shakeology through the lead program, which is a pretty awesome opportunity. All right, so also top sales this week. Our top earners are always going to be listed on my personally sponsored page. I don't necessarily give the volume numbers, but I really want everyone to know they're doing an amazing job, and I am very, very proud. Also, Lauren Volk, my personally sponsored coach, this was her first time ever on the leaderboard, so I wanted to make sure I gave her a special shout out. Lots of people we see so often just completely killing it, so proud of you guys. And May, we are already off to an amazing start, guys. Heather Ruddick already at SC8. Congratulations. Ashley, Danielle, Allison, and Jesse already at SC4 for the month. That's incredible. Congratulations. Lots of people at SC3, 2, and 1 already this month too. So way to go. All right, you guys ready to get to the heart of the call? Okay, but first let's do challenge packs. I forgot about this. Hey guys, Shaun T, major sale this month. Incredible, incredible, incredible sales. $140 for the Insanity Max 30 challenge pack as well as the size challenge pack. So Insanity Max 30, very heavy cardio base. If somebody wants to just type in the chat section some of your feedback about Insanity Max 30. I had amazing results with Max 30. I'll be honest with you, it was a lot of jumping and it was kind of hard on my joints. Wasn't my favorite workout, but it is for people who loved Insanity, people who love Shaun T. They love this workout, and this is the best price they've ever had on it. So basically, you're getting it for $10 with Shakeology, which is amazing. A size also on sale this month. This is for people who like to dance. This is for people who maybe are new to working out. Awesome launch. And if you didn't know this, this is actually one of their top rated programs. And this shocked me. I really didn't think it was. But it is actually one of the most popular programs. And right now it's their top, I wouldn't say it too fast, infomercial. They're getting the most sales from. So if you think that people don't necessarily want size because you think they want those hardcore workouts, chances are people might just be a little bit intimidated by some of the more intense workouts. So size might be a really good option for them as well. I know when I did the test group last year, those customers got amazing results with the program and with Shakeology. It really was a great opportunity. And just so you know, the Kickstart is when you get the refresh with it, and those are both on sale for $180 this month. Guys, if you've never done T25, you want the base kit for yourself as a coach, that's on sale. The base price is $59.85, but I don't believe that's the coach price. I believe that's just the base. Okay, and then on the right-hand side, I have put a couple of great incentives. There's a personal development webcast with Brian Tracy. If you are going to Summit, you have the Success Club party. You have to achieve SC 10. So lots of people pushing for 10 this month. The ladder reception hitting 2-star, I think by May 12th. I hope I have the right date. And also being a team leader on the leadership ladder as well. There's an opportunity for you to move up the lines, and cool news, Shaun T is going to be at Summit this year. You can also earn a great workout with him. So lots of great stuff. Blew through that because I want to make sure I'm getting you guys the information you need for the week. Okay. Successful challenge groups, right? It's the heart of what we do. We have to make sure that if we're running successful challenge groups, that is how we are really going to make sure that we're getting customers who turn to coaches, coaches who turn to rock star coaches, okay? So that's our focus, but it all starts on a blank slate, and that's exactly what the beginning of May is all about, right? We have a blank slate. It's a new month, so we can really start from scratch. So first thing I say to people is you want to have a calendar of some sort. So whether that calendar is your planner, I use whiteboards as well. Whatever it is, you want to have a plan of attack for what you want to do. So the first thing I do is I just sit down and I think to myself, okay, when do I want my group to start? One of my first groups always starts on the third Monday of the month. And I do that because I want my coaches who I allow into my challenge groups to have a couple weeks to be able to advertise. So for the next 2 weeks, my focus is going to be on advertising for that challenge group that's going to start on the 16th. Okay, so then I think to myself, all right, so I know exactly when my group is going to run. I know exactly how long it's going to be. Almost every single one of my groups is 30 days now. It allows me to rotate just right into the next group if people want to go into the next group. But I also like the 30-day mark because I notice if it's longer than that, unless it's a launch, unless it's a test group, people tend to fall off and they stay really excited and engaged for those 30 days. So I know that my groups run for usually 30 days, meaning there's a week of preseason and 3 weeks of focus. If somebody orders Insanity or T25 or a program that's longer than 21 days, what I'll often do is they'll just go right into the next challenge group. So they skip the preseason of the next group and then they go into the next group. They just kind of roll over into that group. And then I think to myself, all right, so who do I want to talk to? Like, what kind of person do I want into my group? And so I just really focus on a theme. I focus on people that I've talked to, people that I've noticed liking or commenting on my posts, what kind of life those people have, what they need. So I know for me personally, I tend to attract people to my business who either struggle a little bit with confidence, whether it's self-image or it's just, they have their moms and they want to lose some of the weight that they've put on with kids. And so a lot of what I post about is geared towards those type of women. So I gear a lot of my posts towards women, like just women who keep it real, women who struggle. I am not the PTA mom who ever has her stuff together. I'll never be that mom. So I am always the one who's like, wait, what email went where? Like where do I have to send my child? There's a 2-hour delay tomorrow. I didn't know that. Did I get an email? I did get an email. I deleted it. I didn't even read it. Like that's the kind of mom I am. So that's the kind of mom I relate to. So my posts are very much constantly geared towards that. So my theme is going to be about moms who need to get it together, who struggle to get it together. So for example, one group that I did last month was #Momfidence, and I'm going to talk about that in the next post. But it was all about gaining confidence as a mom. This month, I am throwing around the phrase mom strong. And so I'm thinking about summer. I'm thinking about moms having to wear bathing suits, but they also have to cart the kids to the beach, and they have all these activities, and now they have to come up with play dates for the kiddos. And so that's kind of in the back of my mind with the mom that I want to attract. So I'm going to walk you through a little bit of that in a minute. I also tell people that you want to think about your limitations and your obstacles, right? So May, I think of Memorial Day. I don't want to start a challenge group on the 31st. It's a Tuesday. Nobody's thinking of weight loss. And even that week before the 23rd, people are busy. They're going places. A lot of people go away for the weekend. So the only type of group that I would likely run that week of the 23rd is going to be a free group. But when I advertise for the group I'm going to run on the 16th, I am going to talk about grilling recipes, when you travel tips, great snacks for the kids for a busy pool day. I'm going to talk about all of those. But I embrace and understand what my limitations are going to be before I actually start a challenge group, before I actually focus on how I am advertising. So that's sort of how I go into it. That's kind of my thought process as I work through a month. So blank slate, and then I just start jotting it down. And I think I've shown a couple people this on the call. But so I just jot down, and this is my whiteboard, if you guys can see it. And I realize that you guys might not be able to see it all. But okay, so I just jot down, I get a couple different color pens, and I write down, okay, well, what am I advertising? And all that time, I'm focusing just on that. So every post that I do, and I'll show you this in the next slide, is focused specifically on advertising for whatever it is. So for me, it's going to be the group on the 16th. So everything I do up until the 16th is going to be focused on that challenge group or what the theme is surrounding that challenge group. And then I also break down, okay, when is a free group going to work? So I know the week before Memorial Day, people are not going to be thinking about spending money. But I know that right when they get home from Memorial Day weekend, they're going to be thinking about all the parties, all the drinks, all the appetizers they ate, and they're going to kind of feel cruddy. So I'm going to run a free group. And I'm probably going to do a 2-week free group at that point. And that 2-week free group is going to set up a lot of people who might be interested in my next June challenge group. So I get out a whiteboard and I just jot down ideas. I just jot down dates. And then if something doesn't work, I delete it and I repost it. All right. I think I have some questions, so I'm going to check this real quick. Okay. The date advertised, okay, so, really, I have some new coaches that might be that, okay. The date advertised as the start date for your challenge group, is that the date? Yep, that's the date of the preseason. So I actually start the preseason as week 1. So it's 4 weeks total, 3 weeks of actual challenge group are how most of mine run, unless it's my launch. My 22 hardcore launch group, that was an 8-week. It was an 8-week challenge, 9 if you count Hell Week. So yes, that's what I have found, Diane, tends to work really well for me. And I just rotate that and it works perfectly into the month plan too for me as well. All right, so next one. Okay, so I'm gonna just show you how I sort of work this out in my head. At this point in my business, all of my advertising is done on my like page, my business page. I know that not everyone is there. So I also know that some of your posts that you're going to put out there are going to fail. You have to be okay with that. I just did one earlier today and it failed. It flopped. I'm not sure why, but it did. But you will have to understand that this is trial and error. And it's constant repetition, okay? So there is a book called Jab, 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 Right Hook, and it's by Gary Vaynerchuk, and he is actually coming to Summit this year. But one thing that he talks about is people want to be sold on something, but they don't want to feel like you're in their face selling. So the best thing you can do is be a storyteller. And so over the last 1.5 years, 2 years, I have really focused on becoming a storyteller and just becoming someone that's relatable and somebody who has real issues and puts herself out there. So we have to be a little bit flexible with this idea of really starting to show ourselves a little bit. So here's what I did. I had this Momfidence idea in my head, and I just kept thinking, all right, I tend to relate to women who struggle with weight, struggle with confidence. I want to work with those type of women, because I get them. Like I'm on the same wavelength as them. I totally get it. So I just started thinking of how many posts do I do that aren't necessarily a call to action as much as an opportunity for reflection. So I would post over those 2 weeks that I was advertising for this challenge group. It wasn't buy a challenge pack, buy a challenge pack, buy a challenge pack. It was Momfidence. It was mom's confidence. It was struggles that real moms have. It is relatability. So these are just a couple of posts that I did. I have found, I know that some people say 3 to 1, but I have found I'm more of like, I do about 5 to 1. So one post tends to be a call to action, meaning like an invite to the challenge group. And 5 of them tend to be more general. I use a lot of humor. That works really well for me. Always talk about my workouts in some way, a product of the product. But I do about 5 posts that don't necessarily tell people to do anything. But they might just say, reflect on this, or what's your reason for? But it's not really a direct call to action. So I'll just walk you through a couple of these examples that worked really well. So last month, it was Momfidence. The focus was mom's confidence, building confidence, gaining confidence, and they had to understand that I was a good fit for them because I was a mom who got it, who understood what it was like. So these are a couple of samples that showed people what I was like as a coach, showed people my values, and showed people, you know, is this somebody that I potentially want to work with? Okay, so I broke it down, right? And over those 2 weeks, I threw posts like this out. Mom versus momster, right? It's kind of funny, but I told people about me. Like, this is where I am right now. I just counted to 3. It connected back to the post, right? Another one is moms and duct tape, right? So I basically did a post that said, this is how I am feeling. Relatability. It's showing people that I was a mom, that I had struggles and that I am just out there doing my thing. But then I would kind of give these little more specific, not quite a call to action, but I would tell people this Momfidence. And I would post like, this is what I believe Momfidence is, right? Refusal to judge your self-worth by your midriff. Killer. It was like, that's right. I am not going to judge myself by what my stomach looks like. And so I knew if that posted well, people would relate to that. So then I did a post about body image where a woman clearly has some scars on her stomach. And I'm like, hell yeah, I have scars on my stomach. It's all good. And then I put a post like that out there. So when I had all of this kind of stuff built up, that call to action in the upper right-hand corner, which is me, which is my specific invite, was like, this is what it is. This is why you should join. Make sense? But I couldn't do that unless I was building that trust with people. I was letting them see who I was. So people ask me a lot about times of day. I don't know. I really don't know what's going to work for you. If you work during the day and a lot of your friends work during the day, I would say it isn't a good time. But if your friends are people who are on Facebook while they're at work, it might be a good time. My thing has always been between 7 and 9 p.m. My calls to action do really well. However, my midday posts tend, like the mom, the duct tape one, those ones tend to do really well mid-afternoon. And then I think I've talked to Michael Lane about this. On Tuesdays, I can't get any love on my like page. I don't know what it is, but it is something. So you just have to kind of play around with it and know that some of your posts aren't going to take. So how do I do it? I actually take a lot of these posts and I'm going to go back one. I go onto Pinterest. And so I look up a term on Pinterest. So I looked up, when I was looking for this, I looked up mom and confidence, right? And so I smushed the words together. But when I went on Pinterest, it was giving me all of these ideas. It gave me like great quotes, great pins, great content. So today, before the call, I was sitting down with my lunch and I was just like, okay, mommy strong. Like I kept thinking of this term, mommy strong. So I went on to Pinterest and I just started pinning some ideas. And then I'll take those same ideas and I'll make them into posts, or I'll put my own flavor on it. I'll put my own spin on it. So like that Momfidence one in the bottom left-hand corner. It was ideas that I got, but I created that image myself. And I just go to canva.com and I just type it out. A lot of times I'll do an overlay of text. If I find a great quote or overlay of text, I'll put my image in the background and then I'll have the quote or something. But I get a lot of my ideas from Pinterest, just going on there and really just kind of searching a little bit for things that kind of stand out to me, because I find that if it's standing out to me, it's probably going to stand out to my target as well. Okay. So interesting fact that I learned is that on average, sorry guys, that's going crazy. On average, for a person to want to purchase something, they have to see an advertisement about 12 times, right? So we all know Facebook makes it tricky to see you in the news feed often. We all know that it's not easy to continue to be seen. People put things by the wayside. They don't make it a priority. They'll come back to it later, or they just never see it at all. So there are 3 things that I have done on a very distinct way to make sure that I'm engaging with my people, okay? So I want to increase the likelihood that they're going to see me continue to advertise, that they're going to see that I'm doing something. And the 3 ways that I have done this is, number 1, events. I create events on Facebook where I can post in there daily. I can share things. So right now I'm doing one called Push Past the Plateau. It is an event that's advertising for my next challenge. So my challenge group actually is called the Strip Challenge. I'm actually doing that one this week. But I did something different. So for this one, I created an event. I did about 2 advertisements on my page. But in the event, I asked for referrals. In the event, I talk about what the group's going to be. In the event, I let them know that I'm going to be doing a live Google Hangout for them so that they can see how I grocery shop. And at the end of that, I'm going to do a giveaway for anyone who signs up for the Stripped Challenge. So I'm going to go on to Google Hangout and I'm going to basically teach them how to go grocery shopping in 30 minutes. So they are going to have it in their head. They're going to still see, okay, so what is this all about? I kind of want the meal plans, but she's only giving them to her challengers. I really want the free downloadable app, but I don't have access to it, so I want to be part of that. The other thing I do is I hold free groups, and I really just went back to this. I did not run free groups. I didn't think I had to, and then I ran them again, and they are working fantastic. So I run them about 1 to 2 weeks before a challenge group. And I really put my heart into those groups and I focus on helping them get results. I give them recipes. I give them a daily exercise that they can do, and I make sure that they're engaged. But what I also do is I advertise once in a while my upcoming challenge groups, what the challenge group is going to be, who it's geared for. And then anytime I see someone like on the post, I start a conversation with them about it. I ask them hey, I noticed that you were interested in the new challenge group that I have coming up. Tell me a little bit about your goals. You're kicking butt in our free group. What do you want to be able to achieve? And so it allows me to start a conversation with them, but there's already been sort of a trust created by the free group. And then the other thing is with the free group, people can add their friends to free groups at any time. So sometimes I'll do little all right, today is free group Friday. Bring 5 friends and you can be entered to win a sample of my favorite pre-workout. And I'll give them a sample of Energize or whatever it might be. But I noticed that if people are commenting a lot, people are liking it a lot, there's probably a good chance that they're really interested, but they have some fears. They have some things that are holding them back, and might be price. It might be that, they don't know or understand what Shakeology is. So that free group is basically a free opportunity for you to advertise to a group of people that are going to see your posts. So I just keep rolling people into my next group. So this group has 300 members. Chances are next month it will have 400. And I don't take people out of the group. I just keep adding people right into the group. If you want a good call on that, I don't go into too many specifics, but Sarah Brett is a coach on another team who did a call in January for us about free groups, and that's where I got all of my information from, and that's what I've been implementing since then. And then the last example that I want to share with you for advertising for your challenge groups is what I call holding areas. Holding areas, because I now use the app, is almost like a group before you give them admittance into a challenge group. So what I do is anyone who voices that they have interest or they'd like to post, or they want more information, or I've started the conversation with them, I put them into a group that's a holding area on Facebook. And so in there, I just go over what a challenge group generally is. So I answer a lot of the questions that you have in conversation anyway. But I also have the opportunity to share the other people who are joining. So I'll do thank yous for orders, or I'll be able to ask people for referrals in there. So it's more selective, and it's not as out there on Facebook, and people feel like it's a little bit more personalized. But the other piece of it that I like is it allows me to keep better track of who I'm talking to. It allows me to keep better track of where people are. So if somebody didn't sign up for this Momfidence group, I can go back into the group and say, okay, so what happened to, and click their name and say, I need to follow up with them. And so then all I'll do is I'll go back and say, hey, Sherry, I noticed that you weren't in the Momfidence group. We talked about some of your goals and you were so set. I just wanted to let you know, I have another group starting on the 16th. I really think this would be a good fit for you. Can I send you more information? And so that holding area, because it was there, it still allows me to kind of keep up with them a little bit. This is really good for people who struggle a little bit with organization and follow-ups, because you have a specific area. I believe Taylor does a holding area, but hers is just for general groups. She talks generally about challenge groups. So it's not specific to one group, but more so what a challenge group is. So I'm sure she'd be willing to answer questions about how she does it. All right, so that's how I advertise, right? Let me see if I have any questions. Okay. I do. Shay, that's a really good question. I actually do create a free the holding area every time. So I didn't create it for the stripped, but for the group that starts on the 16th, which I'm going to start advertising today. I'm about 2 days behind on it. I will create a new group for it. And anyone that voices interest, so even the people that are in my free group, I'll put them in that general holding area. People who didn't buy the previous month are still seeing everything for the next month. So in the Momfidence group, right? So if there are people who didn't buy, I'll private message them and I'll say, hey, this is what I have going on this month, and I'll let them know. And then I move them over to the new group if they want. I could probably go the way that Taylor was talking about, where she has a general holding area for what a challenge group is. I just haven't, because I just started this with 22 Hardcore. So I could. Rihanna, I am posting, for me personally, I post about 5 times a day, but honestly, 5 to 1 means that you could post 2 to 3 times a day. You just wouldn't post about your challenge group every day. So you would maybe have 2 posts, and then, on the 3rd day you have your 5th post, and then your 6th post is your advertisement. It kind of depends on how you post. On my like page, I post about 5 times a day. So usually in some way there is a call to action. But I get people work, and I don't think that's norm, and I don't think it's necessary that you have to post 5 times a day at all. Did I miss any? No, holding area is not preseason. Preseason is the group. But I talk about preseason in there. So I'll say to people, we have a week of preseason. So my holding area can start up to 2 weeks before a group. If that makes sense. No, it's not preseason. No. Yep. I do not, Vesna. I actually use it as a marketing tool. I just believe that having an app, a free downloadable app, is a perk of being in my challenge group. So when I'm talking about it in my free group on Facebook, I actually talk about getting the opportunity to have a free downloadable app and 30 days free of Beachbody On Demand that you can now stream some of your workouts without Wi-Fi. I talk about that too. Kirsten, what group? The one that I'm starting? I think I'm going to do Mom Strong, like hashtag Mom Strong, I think. The holding groups depend. So my holding groups are usually just the name of my challenge groups, because my challenge groups are run on the app. So I don't run my challenge groups on Facebook anymore. I set up the challenge group Kickstart like Taylor's last week, and it's going great. Yeah, good. And I mean, this is just, the goal is if you have people, you don't want to lose them in Facebook land, right? So you want to have them somewhere where they're going to see you. And so the best way that I know to make sure people are seeing me are in events, holding areas, and free groups. Because when you're giving stuff for free, people love it. I mean, how many of us love going to a store and being like, sweet, there's a free sample. Even though you don't really need it, you just like the opportunity to have it, to get it. Or giveaways or anything like that. But the more you can be in their face, the more they're reminded of the challenge group. It's like Jeff Matheson was telling me, it's like Coca-Cola. They did a study on Coca-Cola, right? If people hear Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola so many times, eventually they're going to say, I want a Coca-Cola. Even those people who don't drink Coca-Cola want a Coca-Cola. So it's the same thing, but if we aren't going to be seen on our news feed, even if our content's great, we're kind of kicking ourselves in the butt. We need to have a place for people to go so that they say, oh, this is Katie's group. Oh, she has a free group going on. Oh, well, what's the challenge group? You get a free downloadable app. Okay, so what's the Shakeology stuff? What's the real deal on it? So it gives you that opportunity to really like understand their objections and talk them through it, right? I would change the name and then make sense. I think that would be good for people. I think so too. Yeah, so I haven't, honestly, I'm focusing so much on challenge groups right now that I haven't been focusing as much on coaching, but my challenge groups have more participants, and that's ultimately the goal. If we can get challengers to get results, we're naturally going to be able to get more coaches. Yeah, cool. All right, next one. All right, so then we just have to start the conversation. Number one, do not assume that somebody is already a coach or working with a coach. I think Lauren Volk is a really good example. She's a newer coach on the team. If I would have assumed that she liked something about coaching because she was already a coach, I would have lost the opportunity to get to know a pretty awesome coach. So you want to make sure that you're talking to people. Likes, comments, anytime somebody is engaged with you, start a conversation with them. I do this outside of people that are talking to me, but if they like something, it might be because they genuinely have some interest or they're curious about it at least. I had one girl who, she was commenting and liking a lot of my stuff, but she actually had signed up as a consultant for another company. So I basically was like, oh, that's awesome. Maybe we should do some networking together. So even though she has no interest in becoming a coach, she could be a challenger. She could potentially have a network of coaches or distributors that might be interested as well. It's another opportunity to network. And here's a little trick for you. If people come into your newsfeed out of nowhere, if you just randomly see people popping up, it's because they're seeing stuff on your page. They're going to your page. They're wanting more information. So if somebody is standing out to you, or all of a sudden someone from your past is popping up, it's probably because they want to know more. So I would go out of my way to message them. And engagement. Engage on people's pages. Engage with people through interaction, not just through private messages, but also through conversations on Facebook. That's a really cute picture of your kiddos. How old are they now? Anything that shows that you're not just trying to sell them something, but you're genuinely interested in what they have going on. But you have to start the conversation. I gave a couple of examples. I'm sorry, the mouse is so sensitive. I gave a couple of examples of conversations that I had with people about my challenge groups. This woman just signed up. She's killing it right now. But I really made sure that I took the time to talk to her about some of her goals. So I didn't copy the second part of this conversation, but we had a conversation that had nothing to do with the challenge group for probably, I'd say like 4 or 5 back and forth before we actually started talking about the challenge group. So if you're feeling that need to rush through conversations, go back to the invite scripts, because the invite scripts, and they're just in the file section, break it down. They really break it down. And they might feel kind of scripted at first, but they're built in a way for you to really converse with them, to talk with them, and to feel less pressure as to, oh my gosh, am I saying the right thing? Am I not saying the right thing? What do I want to, how do I feel about all of this? Okay. Just be engaged, be present, follow up. Even if somebody isn't getting back to you, this girl from 225, I've messaged her, we've talked on Facebook, but I'm following up with her, but she's not getting back. It's okay. It's okay. It really is. Okay. All right. So this is where I'm going to challenge all of you guys. Raise the bar. Just raise the bar. You have the amazing opportunity to change lives, but you have exactly what people need. So it's not just about a workout program. It's not just about it's not about Shakeology. It's about having the whole package deal. You have something that people can totally change their lives with. So you can't apologize for that. Don't back down from the fact that people are investing in you as their coach. Put your shoulders back a little bit and say, no, I'm worth it. I'm going to make sure that I have invested in helping them get results. More than a Success Club point, more than just, another challenger. This is the opportunity to change their life, but you know exactly what you have to offer. And if you're not sure of what that is, just jot it down. Like, this is what I'm going to give them. For some people, it might be a weekly call. For some, it might be a morning text message. For some people, it might be daily check-ins. But what do you offer people as a coach? And use that as a marketing opportunity. Are you going to be that coach that is up at 5 a.m. texting people to get their butts out of bed? Or are you that coach who is going to do weekly phone calls, one-on-one phone calls with them to help them achieve their goals? Are you going to be the coach who takes them to the grocery store to help them achieve their goals? No, not just what the company offers in terms of Shakeology, Challenge Group, and the program, but what you offer as a coach too. But also let them know the expectation. What you expect from them. You drink Shakeology daily, you follow the workout program, you check in daily, maybe you post on your wall something motivational at least once a week. Get them almost into that habit of thinking like a coach. Whatever it is, just explain what you need exactly from them, like what they need to know. This is what I'm expecting from you. If you want results, this is what you have to do. Don't apologize for the investment. Relate to it, but don't apologize for it. If somebody says it's too expensive, you say, I understand. I completely get it. When I started Beachbody 4 years ago, I remember thinking, why in the heck does a bag of powder cost $120? I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't understand the value of Shakeology. You're relatable. You have to let them know that, but you're the one who has to set the expectations for what they get from you and what you need from them. And when I'm closing, I say this very confidently most times. And you can quote me on this because it is guaranteed. Listen, this is foolproof. When you follow the meal plan, when you follow the program, and you hold yourself accountable, you will see results. Every time, not maybe, not sometimes, not what if, guaranteed. That's true. It is true. There's a money back guarantee, but guys, people are going to see results if they do the work. And when you have that confidence in what you have to offer, having people come into your challenge groups doesn't feel like it's so hard, but there's a confidence piece of it that has to come with it too. So we have to raise the bar a little bit. We have to say, these are the things I expect from my challengers, because when your challengers are rising and they are seeing results, guess what? You're like coach of the year. So if your coach or your customers are seeing results, they're going to shout you out. So don't water it down and say, you can check in when you want. You can drink Shakeology. You don't have to, because then all of a sudden you're like watering down your worth too. And you don't want to do that. You want to set the bar high for them. You set the bar high as what they can expect from you as the coach that's different from maybe other coaches out there. And you let them know you're not going to fail if you follow this. Bottom line, hands down, if you follow this, you're going to be successful. I mean, it's just the truth, right? All right, so that is all I have for you. Do you guys have any questions for me about the holding area, about anything like that? You can unmute if you want to. No questions.
Katie, how do you ask for, like, what do you say as far as asking for referrals? How do you word that?
So if it's already a challenger, so I have this awesome challenger who she won't sign up as a coach. I've tried so many times, but I just ask her, I'm like, do you have any friends? Are people asking you what you're doing? And so especially if they give me some kind of feedback about their results so far, I'll say like, people have to be noticing your weight loss. Has anybody said anything to you? And in most cases, when they've had weight loss, they'll say, yeah, I have been asked. And then I just say like, do you know anyone that might be interested in this? And so they usually, when they have a positive experience, they have no problem asking or giving me a referral. If I do find that like 2 or 3 people of their friends are interested, and that's what's happening with this one girl right now, I say to them, like, you understand you're doing exactly what I do, but you're not getting paid for it, right? And in most cases, except for this case, they're like, oh, really? And then they get it. They like actually start to understand it. And then they kind of start talking about it. But if they have like 2 or 3 referrals, I really say to them, like, you should be coaching. Because they've already built up the network, Cool.
Katie, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So I have a question about your holding groups. First of all, do you like kind of prompt them and say, would you like to be in a holding group, or you just automatically put them in there? And then once they're in there, have you ever had any challengers be like, yeah, I can afford it and I can afford it? And how do you like kind of detour those, them agreeing with each other?
Okay, so I say, comment if you'd like more information, or can I send you more information? And then that's when I put them in there. When they say yes, or if they wanted more information, that's when I put them in there. And then when they say I can't afford it right now, there's a couple things I do. So I do one post in my holding area that is the blog post I did about how Shakeology saved me money. And I basically broke down that when I started meal planning, I was able to save money. I like budgeted out for Shakeology. I do one post in there that explains what Shakeology is. And now that I have that ability to do Facebook Live, I'll probably do a live feed of how it's impacted my life in some way so that they can see that. Objections still happen. They happen to me, and it's always just, and if they say no, if they are adamant that they can't do it right now, it is always just, okay, I do run these groups monthly, or groups like this monthly. Do I have your permission to check in with you next month? And every time they say, yeah, sure, of course. And I just keep following up with them. Yep. Cool. What else? Any other questions?
Katie, do you keep the comment if they're commenting that it's too expensive, or do you delete it?
No, I don't delete it at all. I basically say to them like, oh my gosh, I remember thinking that same thing. I actually have something that I want to share with you. I'm going to come back and share that a little bit later tonight. And so I actually leave that open because I want other people to actually see the objection. I want people to understand that I know it's an investment. I know that it's scary to put $140, especially for a lot of the women that I work with who are usually like stay-at-home moms or working to make ends meet. And so I want them to see, I relate to the objection. I get it. And so even though I don't come back to showing them how I counter their objection right away, I let that sit for a little bit so other people can see it too.
I have a quick question. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So my challengers, I've managed to turn most of them into discount coaches, and they're all having amazing results, but you would think it was like Fight Club and you're not allowed to talk about it. I can't get most of them to share. Like, I even have Taylor talking to them, like, you would be a great coach. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I can't get them to spread the word, I guess.
So are they already coaches?
They're all discount coaches.
There are already discount coaches.
Yeah.
So why don't you guys do a sneak peek of coaching in your team page?
Okay.
Where you kind of counter some of those objections a little bit. even though they're signed up as a coach, they might not understand what it entails. And then you do little mini challenges in there. Like you'll do like a challenge for doing a motivational post, you know, or you do a challenge for Shakeology, or, you know, whatever it might be. But you set these sort of challenges up for people, but you almost talk about what coaching is because they don't understand what it is or what it entails. So you run it almost like a what is coaching right in there, even though they're already coaches.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Thank you.
Sure. Do you guys have any other questions? All right. So is this time working pretty well? Do we like this? Is this pretty good? Awesome. All right, so I am going to post this call in YouTube. And then if you guys have any other questions about challenge groups or whatnot, you guys know where to find me. All right, have a good week. And Heather Ruddock, congratulations on Success Club already. Congrats, girl. All right, guys, have a great day. See ya.